every creator, no matter the niche, follows the exact same formula to come up with the content ideas that people actually want to watch. And in this course, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. We have tested this ideation formula in different industries for our clients by studying thousands of reels, and you can see the result that we have gotten with it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. But before jumping into the content ideation strategies, I want to explain what makes a content idea so that you guys understand what I'm going to be talking about in this whole course. So let's watch this reel first.
Poor closer versus rich closer. So John, how much money did you make last year? 100K. 100K? That's awesome, John. Congratulations. Cool. And how much money did you earn last year? 100K. Interesting. When you say interesting with that tonality, the prospect goes from thinking that they are God's gift to question.
Okay, after going through that reel, I want to explain you guys what makes a content idea. So we have watched that reel, and that reel had three parts: the topic, the format, and the storytelling. And these three things actually makes a content idea. Every piece of reel that you are going through right now has these three pillars, which makes a core idea. So what is topic, what is format, and what is storytelling? So topic is something that you are talking about. It's simple as that. Like for example, in the reel that we have just gone through, the creator was talking about the topic closing. So that was the topic of that video. It's simple as that. I'm not going to jump in deep dive into this because it's simple. So the second thing is format. Now what is format? It is like, if topic is what you're talking about, then format is how you're talking about it. It's the context. And right? It is one of the most important thing while executing a content idea, because format makes or breaks your content. So in this video, in this reel that we have just gone through, what was format? It was that comparison style that the creator has created, the stage that he has created, rather than sitting in front of a camera talking about a specific topic of closing. What he did, he basically created a scenario. He created two closers, one rich and one poor, right? Now this was the format that he basically hosted for you guys, right? So this is what format is, right? And the third thing is storytelling. It's not what kind of story that you are telling in your content. It's more about the structure, the hook, the script, the creative execution, all the creative direction that you are basically giving in your content, right? It's all a part of your storytelling, right? What kind of impact you are leaving onto the audience. This is what storytelling is all about. Is it positive? Is it negative? So in this reel, the one we have just gone through, the creator, what kind of storytelling technique he used? He used a scenario based, followed by a talking head. What he basically did, he created a scenario. He talked about he basically acted on that certain topic, right? Like as a poor closer, as a rich closer. And after that, he jumped in and started talking about what actually happened, right? So it was a scenario based followed by a talking head. So this was a storytelling technique that he used. So these three are the core pillars which makes any content idea. Whether it's a fail, whether it's a successful, it's viral, it's not viral, each and every piece of reel that you're basically going through has these three core elements. Now right? It depends how you execute each of these elements, each of these pillars perfectly well, and that will decide whether your content is going to go viral or not. Okay, after understanding what makes a content idea, we are going to just dive into the three core type of content ideas that are available all over Instagram. The first one is typical format-based ideas, the second one is trend-based ideas, and the third one is creative format-based ideas. Now I'm going to basically first explain you these three ideas, what they are actually, and then I'm going to also guide you on how to ideate each type of content idea. Now, these three have their own importance, but the third one is really, really important. I mean, if you want to skip the first two, just skip. I don't really care. But the third one is something which is going to make you stand out from the masses. That's the number one thing. So I'm going to just walk you through one by one. Okay, so the first one is typical format-based ideas. Now, these are easy to make videos that follow popular, well-known content structure. They don't need deep storytelling, just good visuals and familiar formats that people already enjoy. So let me first show you three examples so that you'll know what I am talking about. So the first one that we have is this video.
Back and watch me smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that until you get so.
This is the second one. Third one.
Let's take it back to a time when we were so
Now, I think you guys are getting the idea that what kind of content I'm talking about. These are the type of content that you mostly see on meme pages, I'd say shout-out pages, theme pages. So these are the type of content which are easier to execute because you don't need a lot of footage for that. You don't need to actually have some kind of a story around that. Just a bit of good visuals and that format that is already been trending on Instagram, right? So these are things that you are going to basically going to be needing in order to execute this type of content idea. So these are just ready-made formats that you can just go through and inject your visuals and topics into them and just. Okay, so now it has its pros and it also has its cons as well. So let's talk about the pros. First, it's easier to research. I mean, you can literally see plenty of examples, plenty of meme pages, plenty of meme content out there. The theme page is posting daily 2 to 3 reels. So it's easier. It's way easier to research. It's fast execution. Again, you don't need a proper scripting or some kind of storytelling in order to execute these pieces of content. The third is it's a low production effort. So you don't need animation kind of stuff. It's really easy to execute. You just need that format. You just have to copy that specific format and inject your own topic into it, or maybe add some of your visuals and it's ready to go. Proven engagement models. So if you find an outlier idea in any of the meme pages and you can see that it's working pretty good, there is a high chance that it's going to work on your page as well if you are taking that inspiration in a correct way, right? Now, high volume possible, you can easily execute these type of reels 2 to 3 in a day. It's really easy to execute because it's all about the research. It's all about just saving the reels again and again as going through your stuff. And the more saved reels, the more format that you have in your bank, you can execute more of the videos. So now it has its downside as well, which is not really good. The first, it's not unique. You'll blend into the masses. It's hard to differentiate yourself because if it's easier to execute, it's easier to research. So everyone's doing it. So it's not going to stand you out from the masses, right? You are not going to be someone that audience wants to follow in your niche in terms of content creation, right? So it doesn't build a strong personal brand. Again, you're competing with thousands using the same forms, the same thing. Low retention value. Audience may not stick around for the long term because these type of reels, if I've shown you these 3 type of reels, you can literally, I'm pretty sure that you guys have already seen these type of reels from other creators as well in the same format. There's a high chance audience is going to basically forget about you, right? Because again, they have multiple choices. So another downside is high dependency on consistency because you're fighting every day for attention. So you will have to be consistent as hell. I mean, posting daily 2 to 3 videos is must here. Even if you're not posting 2 to 3, at least post 1 reel per day if you are going with these kind of formats. Now, the fifth one is short attention span content. Again, the same thing that audience will just forget about you right? So this is what typical format-based ideas are. And you can go through its pros and cons as well. Now let's jump into the second type of ideas. On number 2, we have trend-based ideas. Now these videos follow what's trending right now, like viral topics, challenges, or sounds. They work well because people are already paying attention to them, but they don't stay relevant for long. Let me show you what type of content that I'm talking about here. And then I'm going to just walk you through its pros and cons. The second one we have is this.
Question for you. What is your biggest turn on?
Let's say if I'm bullish for the next day, I'm looking for it to trade down below the opening price into like a standard deviation. The standard deviation should overlap the higher time frame PD array, and then I'm looking for a lower time frame market structure shift. Maybe I'm using a
Okay, so I think you guys have understood the concept that I'm talking about here. So these are the topics which were trending at some point, and we have cached some of these trends as well for our clients. So we know that what kind of pros and cons you have to face in order to execute this type of content. Now the first, let's talk about pros. Instant high reach. Trends get boosted by algorithm. So if you're catching on the trend early as possible, right? It's a big chance that you are going to get the traction that you are looking for, because it's trending. You're just it's something that is going up, and you're just holding on. You're just holding on to it. It will take you on the heights as well. So the second one is less effort in storytelling. Obviously, because you already have that specific topic or structure which is trending right now, so you don't actually have to sit and ideate something, right? It's going to be a bit of ideation, that how you're going to inject that topic with your industry, but you don't actually have to sit or brainstorm like crazy for that. So it's one of the pros. Can go viral fast, again, because it's trending. It increases visibility. Even if people don't follow you, they engage with the content, because let's say if you are a small creator and you are catching on a trend, on some kind of a trending topic, people don't know you, they know that trend, so they are going to engage with there's a chance that you're going to engage with their content on the fact that they know that trend, right? So it's increases visibility. It's easier to ideate. Again, the same thing, it's easier to ideate. Okay, now let's talk about downside as well. So it has a short lifespan. What's hot today is irrelevant next week. It's literally in front of us. I mean, we're talking about, let's say, chill guy meme. It was trending maybe a month or two ago, and right now it's literally irrelevant. So all trends have short lifespan. No long-term brand equity. People remember that trend, not you. So it's also one of the big downside as well, because people know the trend, they don't know you, right? So they are going to stick with that trend rather than sticking with you. So it can also have a negative impact on your brand if you are just dependent on the trends. So not evergreen, again, the same thing. It has a short lifespan, and we have tested this, and we tried to stay dependent on one of the trends that we're following, that was trending at that time, and we failed. We totally failed. So the next one is required fast execution. Internet is so fast nowadays. If something is trending today, it's going to be relevant the next day. So you have to be fast. You cannot be late. If you're late, the trend will die, right? So you have to be attentive all the time, that what's trending and what's not. So another con is trend saturation. If too many people jump on it, engagement drops fast. It's because audience, let's say if the trend is being cached by every creator from your competitors, right? Then again, if you have jumped on that trend quick, right? Like the time when it was on its peak moment, on early stages, then you are going to be one of the starting guys to do it, right? But if everyone is doing it and you are the one of the last one, so it's going to be a trend saturation, and audience start to get bored, and they, rather than getting inspired from that piece of content, they start hating it. It's everywhere on the internet. They're it's killing their feed. It's killing the aesthetic of their feed. They don't want to watch any of those pieces of content, right? So these are the cons, and I think they are really negative as compared to the pros that we got in the trend-based ideas. You can still follow, but I don't recommend you depending on it. On the third one, we have the creative format based ideas. Now this is going to be interesting, right? And this can literally change your content creation journey. These videos become a creator's signature style. Instead of making one-off content, the creator repeats a unique format and it just adds a new topic to it, making it more recognizable and scalable. So before explaining this definition, I'm just going to show you some of the content that I'm talking about here. Let's start with Dr. Julie.
Don't make this mistake when you're working on your own happiness. Imagine this is you and this is your life. But like most people's lives, there are problems that can make it toxic. If a fish is living in a toxic environment, eventually it gets sick. So you take her out of the dirty water and put her in a new tank for a while. Kind of like how you take a break, you go on a holiday for a few weeks into a new environment and it helps, everything gets better and feels great for a while.
That's enough. The second one is this guy, right?
How much does it cost to make one Xbox? About $700. Great, let's sell it for $500. For $500. How do you expect us to make money then if it costs us $700 just to produce one unit? Trust me, watch. I'll take the new Xbox, please. Great, your total's gonna be $499. Great, thank you. Alright, genius, now what? How are we gonna make money? Just watch. Oh yeah, new Xbox. I can't wait to play. Oh wait, I need to buy a game.
And one more.
Do you have a dream?
Oh, you're on the TikTok, aren't
I
you?
am on the TikTok.
Oh,
So, do you have a dream?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
So creative format is something like it's a storytelling structure that you build, and you don't actually have to set up the stage every time. Like you don't actually have to ideate for this format. You just need topics. You just inject those topics into your format and you create a content. You can see that Dr. Julie Smith, how she presented her topic from her industry. Again, this Angelo guy, like he talks about the money, and like he took one of the topic from his industry and presented in a different format. And I think we all know this third example. The third example is from Simon Squibb. His format is something like he goes on the street and asks strangers for what's like a question like, what's your dream? And his Instagram, I think he got like 1.2 million followers, I guess. And all of that traction that he has gotten through that specific format. So this is what creative format based ideas are. And every one of your favorite creators, every one of your creators whose reels leaves an impact on you as a viewer, right? I'm talking about Simon Squibb, I'm talking about Dr. Julie Smith. For other big creators, we got Josh Ottosania. He also creates similar type of content. They've gained mass tractions by building their own formats, their own styles, right? So this is really important. Like if you want to stand out in your industry, you have to build your own style. And how you can build your own style is by testing and creating a creative format based ideas. So let's talk about its pros and cons. So first is it sets you apart, obviously builds a unique brand identity in your niche. Loyal audience growth, recognize your style and follow for you, right? Because they know that this piece of content is generated from that guy, right? So there is that loyal audience growth as well. More dependable. Again, you don't have to rely on mass content because you are, let's say, dropping one reel. It's not about the consistency on this part. It's more about how much clever your ideas are, how much clever your structures are. And the fourth one is evergreen potential. Again, you are not depending on the trends. You're not depending on the typical formats. You have created something of your own. So you don't actually have to depend on anything. It's evergreen, right? You got the stage. You got your own stage. You just have to inject your topics again and again. Higher retention rates. People stick around because they enjoy your storytelling or format. Like for example, like now what I mean by that, like if I have to explain this line, I mean, every big creator, even in entertainment niche, for example, if we are talking about Jimmy Kimmel's mean tweets, it's also a format. Let's say if we're talking about Mr. Beast's challenges, right? Challenges series, Ryan Terrence $1 series, they all are the format that they have created. Audience loves, connects with them based on that. Like if I love some kind of a show, or maybe some kind of series, they have that unique style of their own, which basically engages a viewer to attract more. So, right? So the people stick around because they enjoy your storytelling or format. So high retention rates. No need to ideate daily. Again, you don't need to ideate daily because you have your stage ready. You just have to inject the topics. That's it. Now, it has its downsides as well. First of all, it's harder to ideate, requires a deep understanding of your audience and niche. I mean, you have to literally sit and brainstorm content, ideas. You have to compare a lot of content in order to execute or find what's going to work for you. So the second one is more time consuming. Scripting, filming, editing takes longer because it's a custom content. You actually have to record, and you're not just recording, you are basically creating you're setting up a whole stage. So it's gonna take time. Not easy to replicate. You can't just copy other originality. Let's say if you're talking about, like, this is something that I'm going to explain you in how to basically ideate these type of content, but like how to steal, not copy. So let's leave this line right now. Slow growth initially. Okay, so unlike trends, creative content takes time to build momentum. Again, it's an organic thing. It's a creative thing, so it will take some time. Let's say trend is something like that. Like if I'm depending on a trend, like if I'm cashing on a trend, I have posted one video, it has gotten like 800,000 views. The next video can get 10 to 20 views, or maybe 210,000 views, something like that. Because we don't have stability at that part, but it's something like it's a consistent growth, right? You will see that your content is going to get better after each video. So it's a slow growth initially. So it's one of the cons if you don't have patience. And the fifth one, the last one, is higher risk. And if the format flops, your waste effort compared to easier content style. Like, again, if your format is like, you have worked on the ideation, you have worked on the inspiration, you have worked on the research, filming, all those stuff. But if format fails, right? So again, it's going to be a big loss of your time and of your efforts as compared to the typical base format. Okay, so let's talk about how to generate each type of content idea. First one is how to generate typical format-based ideas. First step is going to be obviously inspiration. So where to look for inspiration? The first step is obviously inspiration. Where to look for inspiration? So it's easy. First, what you have to do is create 3 to 4 burner accounts on TikTok and Insta. Follow 10 to 15 meme and engagement heavy pages and train your algorithm for some days. Now, what I mean by engagement and meme pages, these are some of the examples. One of the examples that I'm going to show you. Here we have. This is one of the examples. You can literally go through plenty of other pages as well. So follow 10 to 15 meme pages and pages that have high heavy engagement, and now you like, because you know that what kind of format that we are talking about here, what kind of ideas that we are talking about here. So look for those kind of pages. Explore successful videos and reels within and outside your niche. Outside is very important. If you're following if you're executing a piece of content inspired from within your niche, in this case, is really going to be, it's not going to be that engaging because someone is already doing it. You're just copying the copied thing, right? So I hope it makes sense. The first step is check viral posts on meme pages, influencer accounts. Like, you have to look for the outliers. Obviously, this is really important, that which one has outperformed the other ones. And so you have to save every video which is performing in the collection. For example, let's say in this one, this one has performed well. This one also has performed well. 8.5 million views, 8.2 million views. This one has not performed well as compared to his regular views. So after this, what you have to do, just save your reels. What you have to do, just save your reels. Like I have saved here. Now, one issue that you can face is, let's say you have 3 to 4 burner accounts. Now, the reason that I'm telling you to create 3 to 4 burner accounts is because sometimes your scrolling gets exhausted. Like the algorithm you're scrolling, it gets exhausted, and you get one type of content which you don't want to create, which you don't want to get inspired from, is just popping again and again, right? So at that time, feel like you are exhausted, just open the other account. And the smart move is that, like, you don't have to create collection in each of the burner accounts. Just create a collaborative one, like the one that I have with one of my team here, Reading Addicts, right? So you can do that as well. Okay, so now here comes the interesting part, like how to adopt and make it your own, like actually how to steal that format. So a couple of steps: scroll through your saved reels and make an existing format and apply it to a different topic. Simple thing. Change the delivery style, inject personal insights, humor, or info in accordance with the niche. Keep the copy and message dumb and broadly relatable to the viewers. That's really important. Now, to show you an example, a couple of days ago, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I was actually ideating for one of our client, Devin Parks, and this reel popped in front of me. It had a lot of views and it had a lot of engagement, and I really like that format, right? It's not from within our niche, but that makes it like a strong candidate for us, right? So I took that format, right, and I wrote a copy according to the industry that my client is in. Devin Parks, he's in credit repair niche. So this is what we have created. What we did, basically took this format, right, replaced the story, and tried our best to write a copy which is broadly relatable to the audience that Devin has. Like the niche he's in, it's credit repairing. It can be a boring one, right? So we have to talk about money, fundings, broader topics. So we have to avoid using jargons or industry related language so that we save ourselves from the niche audience, right? Because that's against the virality then. So this is what we have created after getting inspired from this. I can show you one more example that we have created for Casper SMC, and you can see that how we basically created that piece of content. Okay, so this idea that we executed for Casper SMC a couple of months ago, and here's the inspirational link that this is the format that we got inspired from, and we took this format, right, the copy style, the whole stage that this content was presenting, and we created something like this. So this is what we created after getting inspired from that piece of content. It got like 655,000 views, and it also gained us maybe 5,000 to 10,000 followers, I guess. So it was an outlier for his last performers. So this is what we created. So you just have to follow this second step. Just scroll through your saved reels and take an existing format. I've just shown you that how we basically steal formats, right? Now let's jump into the third step, choosing the right visuals and footage. Now this is really important, and you have to just follow these steps. First, scroll through your drive footage and drop links in the dock of selected ones. Now, it can be confusing for you because in our case, we ideate for our clients, right? So what they basically do, they just throw all of their lifestyle footages, their images, their videos, each and every stuff in the drive folder, right? Let me see if I can show you something like this. And what we basically do, we select, because now we have the format, right? So we know what kind of footage that we are looking for. And what we basically do, we just go through all of their content, every piece of visuals that they have in their drive folder. And after that, we keep separating the ones that we think that are good fit for our specific piece of content that we want to create, right? So what we basically do, we just keep separating the ones that we have. That's why I have written here, drop the links in the dock of the selected ones, right? Because again, you need some place to drop the links again. Like, you're not going to just jump in the drive again and again. Now, after that, select the ones which suits best with your copy and message. Now, it's really important. It's not just the line. You have to connect the copy. For example, one of the reel that we executed for one of our client, Jade Cap, it gained like 1.4 million views, right? And that reel, like if you go through the analytics, you'll see that there's a graph where audience is engaging more. And now I want you to closely look at this reel and see that how his face expressions are literally aligning with the line. Let me show you. You see right there. Now this is a attraction point. I'm pretty sure you have seen this idea a lot of the time, like from other creators as well, but this one has outperformed them. The only reason I personally know, like after reading the analytics, is that first hook, because it's so relatable in terms of copy and in terms of face expression. It's like a YouTube title and thumbnail, which always have to be relevant to each other. Like they are assisting. These two visuals are assisting. That's why I have to keep the copy and message relatable to your visuals. Now keep the caption font readable. Make sure the caption is readable, right? Select the trending, but most importantly, suited music. Now for the music, you have to select the ones which is more suited to your brand rather than going with the trending ones. Trending ones works, but the thing is that you cannot kill the aesthetic of your reel just to get the trending music, right? So make sure to do that. My camera is getting off again and again. Okay, so now after music, creating a seamless loop content for better retention. Now make sure that your content does not have irregular cuts, right? For example, if I am showing you this video, the copy and the visuals are moving at same space, right? If the visual is changing, the copy is changing as well. So make sure it is perfectly looped as well. And after that, after this process, you will now have the ability to reverse the process as well. First footage and then format. Now what I mean by that, because you have gone through your whole drive footage, whole drive folder, right? You have seen each piece of content. And before that, what you have done, you have scrolled social media like Instagram as well. You have saved a lot of reels as well. You have consumed a lot of meme content as well, which is the backbone here in the ideation of typical base format. So after going through the drive, you got formats in your mind. You also got it in your mind, right? So you know that after this process, you will have the idea that what kind of footage can create what kind of format. You understand what I'm saying? You can reverse the process here at this part because you have the formats. It's in your mind. You have what kind of footage the drive has. You can create a format from the drive as well, from the footage as well. So this is going to be one of the perks for following this step. Now, after these 3 steps, what you have to do is you have to follow this 4th step, which is going to be a nail in the coffin. If you don't execute this one, it's going to be in every format. And what is that pre-upload optimization? The real estate check. Okay, so the 4th step is pre-upload optimization, the real estate check. Now, what is the real estate? Okay, so there's an interface, there's a specific interface that you have to follow on Instagram if you want your message to be clearly conveyable to the audience, right? Now, for example, let me show you one of the interface that I've taken from one of our clients' video a couple of months ago. So this is, look at this. The interface is being cut off. The whole like almost A is being cut off, right? So this is the interface that you have to basically avoid, and this is the one that you have to follow, right? You cannot put anything in this place, in the reel space, in this camera bar. This is the interface. You cannot put anything here as well on the caption side. So all the visual that you want to add, the caption, the visual elements, these, like all of these, all of those are going to be in this specific part. So this is what the reel state, and you have to like stay in this middle part. There's another thing as well. There's an effect which we call zoom in effect on iPhone. Like if someone is scrolling your reel on iPhone, right? And once they click on it, what iPhone's interface does is basically it zoom in on the content, it zoom in on the reel, right? The above one, the one that you are basically looking at it right now, this is like, this has been generated on iPhone, right? If I am scrolling this reel on Android, right, it's not going to be like looking like that. It will be a different one, right? The interface is not going to be zoomed in. And if you want to copy, if you want this format, just either screenshot this or I can send you as well. So after typical format based ideas, we have to learn how to generate trend based ideas. Now, first thing comes first. Again, on the typical base format ideas, we needed inspirations. Here we need topics. So how and where to spawn trends early? It's easy. Monitor TikTok trends, Twitter, Insta, and Reddit. Use trend analysis tools like Trend Talk, expanding topics in Google Trends. I've shown you some, for example, a couple of weeks ago, maybe months ago, I don't actually remember. Super Bowl was trending, all that Kendrick's diss to Drake as well. Like those were the topics which were trending at that moment. So you can just go through Google Trends as well. The best and the most logical thing is just stay active on social media. You'll understand what's trending, what's not trending, right? And just study meme pages and viral repost accounts to see patterns, because the meme pages these are the pages which get on the trends as early as possible, right? Because it's their forte, right? They are always looking for the trending topics so that audience can engage with their content. This is what, like, engagement is their money, right? So make sure to follow meme pages and viral repost accounts to see patterns, like what's happening on them. Okay, so how to adopt a trend to your niche? So the better question will be, how can I remix this trend with my niche to make it relevant to my audience, right? Now this is a bit tricky, how you are going to basically inject your topic, your industrial topic, into the trending, but like trending topic or maybe a trending challenge, something like that. So it's not that hard if you know how to do an ideation on the basic stages. I think you can easily execute this. You just have to take a trending meme or sound and insert industry specific context. Use humor, storytelling, or cultural references to make it resonate. Now, if I have to show you some creators cashing on the trends back in the days, for example. Now, by the way, we also cashed on the format, cash on the trending format back in the days, and it was really worked for us well. Let me just show you an example of how we executed one of the idea for our client. Okay, so this is the reel that we have created for JadeCap, and it was based on the trend, and it really performed well for that time. And let me just show you. Now, this lady was trending back in the days when we ideated that piece of content. So we kind of like cashed on her trend, and you can see the views, 978,000. But it was cleverly executed, right? You can see the content, like it is unexpected, right? It is unpredictable, and audience engaged with it, and they like, if you go through the comments, they were literally asking for us to make like another version of it, and we did, and it performed again. This is the one that I'm talking about here. Now this one worked as well. Now this is how you basically cache on trends, right? We cleverly cache on this trend, and after that, obviously it was working for us, so we kind of executed another one, but it didn't perform that well. So yeah, it got 21,000 views. It was also it had similar stuff, but again, now this is the downside of the trend. You cannot depend on it for the long term, right? So after that, we didn't create it any, because we knew that the trend is dead. So we have to focus more on the creative formats. So this is what we created and how we executed this, right? This is the card that we created in 2024, I guess. Yeah. So this was the video that our team got inspired from. Now, this was the inspiration, right? And like you've seen the execution, right? So this is how we basically executed this piece of content, and it went viral. And there are a lot of other cards as well where we basically followed up on this trend. So this is how you actually adopt a trend, right, to your niche cleverly, right? So after this, the third step is how to increase engagement with trend-based content. It's easy. Be on time, make your version more extreme, controversial, emotional than others. Again, the content that I've just shown you of the Jade Cap, it is unpredictable, it is extreme, it is controversial, right? And we have tested different formats as well. And the one which I've just shown you, the one which has performed very well. We've tried. We also tried one with just a copy as well, which I think we deleted from the Instagram or archived. So yeah, after finding a trending topic, just execute it cleverly, and then make sure to add these essence to make it more engaging. Okay, so the fourth step is again the same, pre-upload optimization and the release state check. You have to keep this in mind in every format, because it's literally going to break down your video if it is not being presented perfectly. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the most interesting format out there, creative formats. So okay, so the first step is I'm going to first explain you some of the creative formats, because it's a different thing from typical based formats and trend based formats. So some formats, as I've mentioned here, the interview style, example, street questions. Let me show you example as well so that you don't get confused. So this is Simon's script. He basically cache on these kind of formats. So this is his format style, where he just goes onto the street and asks random strangers a question like, what's your dream, right? And after that, if it's a good idea, he basically, I think, fund them or something like that. So this is his format. Okay, so the next format I'm going to basically show you is scenario based, where creator creates a scenario in order to explain their topics to the viewers. For example, this is Josh. He got like 1.9 million followers, and this is his format that he basically cache on. Okay, so what he does basically, he creates a scenario rather than like sitting in front of a camera or talking about stuff. He just he just create a scenario around this. Can show you one more creator, MyTech CEO. So this guy creates a comedy skits, right? But again, it's a scenario based style. It's a scenario based format that he cached. Okay, so what he does basically, he creates a scenario based content around tech industry and how consistent good number of views he's getting. So this is the second format. There's one other format as well to create creators one light bulb. We basically, I think shown you in the above example that how that Xbox guy created two characters in order to 2 to 3 characters in order to execute his content. That was 2 characters, 1 light bulb. And object analogy, I think I've shown you. This is object analogy format from Dr. Julie Smith. She cached on this format. So these are the type of formats that you can get inspirations from, right? And if I have to go broad, right? So in broad style, in broad niche, I think every big creator, every big show on the YouTube, right? They have certain formats. For example, Jimmy Kimmel has that reading mean tweets, right? We also have some other formats on YouTube as well, which are trending. For example, this is also one of the format, right? Hot ones, right? Hot ones by First We Feast. So this is a format where celebrities come and they answer questions, right, while eating spicy wings. So this is a creative format, right? This is also an example of coming up with a good format where people love your content and you are known for that specific style. So you can see content formats, creative formats in every industry, right? Whether it's entertainment, whether it's info, it's sports, anything. So I think up till now, you guys have understood what creative formats are. So now we are going to jump in where to find creative format inspirations, right? So first of all, you have to study how top creators develop their unique style, right? And reverse engineer and dissect successful formats. Like if you are looking for example, I've shown you some of the creative formats. Just go to their Instagrams, right? And dissect each of their videos, right? The best performers, the low performers, like what are the things, what are the drivers, what are the performance drivers that are working for their videos, right? So reverse engineer those, dissect those formats, scroll outside your niche. The more broad, the better. For example, Jimmy Kimmel's mean tweets, as I mentioned, this challenge format back in the days. So the thing is that if you are taking a format from, if you're like stealing a format from your own niche, let's say if you are a trader and you are inspired from some other trader who is creating a good content, a creative format based content, not that typical style, and you've just stole his format, right? So it's going to be, you are going to be like a second one who's basically done it, right? But if you take inspiration outside your niche, you have created something different in your industry because it's happening outside your niche, but it's not happening within your parameter, right? So make sure to always get inspiration from outside of your niche and do not copy the format word to word, like step by, like you have to be creative enough to make something different from the inspiration, right? So the fourth one is you can also use niche plus format formula to search on TikTok and Insta. Like now this is really interesting. First of all, you have to understand this, like niche is something that where your topics are coming from, right? Obviously, for example, content marketing, health, technology, AI tools, beauty, fashion. These are all the topics. These are all the industries. And what are formats, hacks, tutorials, case studies, before and after, challenges, reviews, tutorials, versus scenario-based skits, explainers. These are all the formats, right? So just, I have this whole doc with me. I can either share this with you, or you can just literally ask ChatGPT to create you the keywords either from the topics or from the formats, right? And just go through TikTok, search with this formula. Like for example, let's say if I'm in drop shipping niche, right? And I want to find a format. The format that is coming to my mind, which I want to look for, is challenges. So I'm going to just go to the TikTok and search drop shipping challenge. And a lot of content is going to be come in front of me, and I'll just scroll through the content, see what's working for other creators and what I have to follow and what I have to basically look for. Create a list of all your inspired formats and creators. Just create a Excel sheet and just throw all the styles, all the formats, all the creators that you think that you are getting inspired from, and which like the type, the video style that you think that you can execute comfortably. Just throw them all, and then we'll work on the rest. Okay, so up till now you understand what creative formats are, right? Where to find creative format inspirations, right? Now this is the third part. This is the third step, which is really important: how to create and own a new format, right? First of all, you have select any inspirational format that you have gone through, that you think that this is really good for you. Second step is going to be you have to compare best and worst performance and write performance drivers. Now this is really important. You have to dissect the format, as I've mentioned before, because the good thing about the creative format is that the creator is hosting a same stage again and again each of their videos. So you can you can differentiate between their best and worst performance, right? Because format is same. These are performance drivers. What are the elements? What kind of objects? What kind of hooks she was using, right? How she was presenting that object. Was that performance driver related to the actual topic or not? And to show you an example, you can see that, let's say if I am getting inspired from object technology format, right? And I'm planning to dissect Dr. Julie's content format. So you can see that one of the videos has performed really well, 1.1 million views, and the other one 381,000 views. Because although these two videos have the same format, right? She is using objects to present her topics, but again, there is something which is creating that much gap. And if you understand this, you can literally create any format from scratch. So if I have to go in depth, and let me explain you, for example, same videos again, it got 3 million plus views. This one got 200,000 views. So I have dissected this format, both of these videos, that why one has performed really well and why other one has really fall flat. But now, the first impression is that 200,000 views are really, really good, right? For someone that but it is good for someone who is a small creator. Dr. Julie, she got 1.9, I guess 2 million followers, and her average views is 1 million views or 800,000 views. So 200,000 views is her low fact that this has performed not really well. So we are just going to watch this video first.
If you see yourself as a bit of a people pleaser, I'm a psychologist, and I want you to imagine for a moment that this is you. Every time you allow someone to trample over your boundaries in order to be liked by them, it's a bit like doing this. And every time you change yourself just to keep others happy, it's like that. And when you betray your own values just to fit in, it's a bit like doing that. So you tell yourself it's not a big deal, but over time those small betrayals chip away at your sense of self, so that when life demands that you show up as you, there are so many gaps that you don't even know who you are anymore. You're not sure who you want to be or what matters most to you, because you've spent so much of your life putting everyone else first. But before things come tumbling down completely, there is a way forward. You see, when you start to prioritize...
I think that's enough. Now let's watch this low performer.
I want to introduce you to the apple and the cookie. If you want to make a positive change in your life, you've got to hear this. The cookie is your old life, your old habits, your old relationships you don't want anymore. They taste really good, but you know they're bad for you. The apple is that positive, healthy change that you're trying to make. Here's where it gets interesting. When you eat the apple, if your focus is still on the cookie, then your natural reaction is going to be to compare the two. Then you're going to notice that the apple doesn't taste quite so sweet as the cookie, and it doesn't give you that same feeling that the cookie always did. And so you're always going to feel disappointed. And when you finish the...
Okay, so now here are a couple of reasons that this one has gained 3 million plus views and this one got just 200,000 views. So the first one is active analogy. We are talking about object analogy format here, right? And let's say if I want to get like inspired from this type of format and I want to use this format for my own content, right? So this is the dissection that I have done. So first of all, active analogy. She uses a Jenga tower as a visual analogy to explain people pleasing, right? The blocks represent personal boundaries and removing them mirrors how people pleasing weakens you. The real time movement makes the concept easier to understand and more engaging, right? So the overall, like, she has used this Jenga tower very cleverly. It's an active analogy. You can see that now if I have to compare the analogy part with this low performer, it has a passive analogy. Lack of movement and visual impact. She uses an apple and a cookie to explain her topic, but the object don't interact or evolve with the video, right? Unlike the Jenga analogy, there's no real time cause and effect that reinforce her message. The object feels static, making the analogy weaker and less engaging, right? Apple and cookie are not basically assisting her topic visually more as compared to this Jenga. The second one is built-in tension. It's a psychological. You all know that Jenga is a game of suspense, right? And it's always that the tower is going to collapse. So that natural tension keeps people watching until the end because like it's increasing the retention. Now, as we compare that trait with this low performer, there's no built-in tension in this video. There are low stakes. There's no real suspense or stakes. It's just a simple comparison between apple and a cookie. Even though she takes a bite of an apple, it's not enough to create a real anticipation like the Jenga tower's collapse potential. So without tension, viewers don't feel the need to keep watching until the end. So this is the second reason that I think the video is not performed well. Now, third one is cleverness and surprise factor. The combination of Jenga plus people pleasing and unexpected and creative, right? It's unpredictable. Like it's smart. So that's why people like want to hear more. What she has to say, and they want her to explain the topic more in depth. So the retention is going to the sky here. Lack of cleverness and surprise factor here. The idea is too obvious, making it less shareable because it doesn't introduce a new way of thinking. Unlike Jenga, which is equally visual idea concept, because there are no perspective shifts, there are no unpredictability at that part, because we know that apple is for healthy and cookies for unhealthy. So nothing fancy. But on the other, like on the Jenga video, like it's a clever concept. Now the fourth one is expectations and relatability. Every hole left in the Jenga tower reinforces the message. Pleasing other weakens you. Viewers relate to the metaphor, making the video more memorable and shareable, as I've mentioned before, right? And the fourth part here, like another reason, the Jenga analogy is a fit perspective, showing unexpected way to view people pleasing. In this video, there's no surprising insight. Everyone knows apple are healthy and cookies are unhealthy, as I mentioned before. Like no perspective shift. It's plain video, right? And if it was to be executed by the creator with less amount of followers, right? Obviously, it would have gotten like 5 to 10,000 views, hardly. This is what like I'm saying at max. But this is really, really important. So like if I want to get inspired from this format, these are the things that I have to keep in my mind, right? I'm not saying that compare each of her videos, but make sure that you know that what kind of content that you are going to ideate, what kind of performance drivers. Now, these are all the performance drivers. I have, like, if I want to execute this format for my industry, I have to keep these things in my mind. Like, I have to avoid these. I have to keep these in my videos all the time, because these are the real reason the videos are performing really well. Now, after dissecting the formats, you have to remove the topic and you will be left with the blank format. Use list of performance drivers, as I mentioned, or psychology behind them. Always have a hook on top. Always have a hook copy on top. Like, for example, I'm talking about the topic, the copy like this, right? whenever you're creating any piece of content, so it's not just about this format, any format, right? Even if you're creating a plain talking head, make sure there's always a hooked copy on your screen for the first 1 to 2 seconds, because it's also it's also a kind of a hook, right? We talk about verbal hooks, we talk about visual hook. It's one of the visual hook, right? So make sure your videos always have this kind of hook on top of them, on the middle of them, actually, on top of them. Last one is introduce a repeatable storytelling structure. So just come up with your own format. Like as I've mentioned that I have dissected Dr. Julie's object analogy format, and like now I know that what kind of things, what kind of performance drivers are working for her and what I have to avoid, right? Now I can basically ideate my own content. Like I have to just inject the topic and execute my own idea into it. So let me show you some of the examples that we have created that we have executed for some of our clients. This is one of the creative format that we come up with for one of our client. And the best part about this idea is that we ideated the similar idea for one of our other client who's from a different niche, but it also performed for him as well. Let me just show you this side. So this has performed really well. It got 470,000 views. You can see the average views of his channel and this one, right? Now, there's also there's also an element that you should be looking for. The format must be repeatable. For example, this one is, we can repeat it, but it's not evergreen, to be very honest, right? This one has really performed well, but let me show you one of the ideas that we executed. Now this idea is repeatable. Like I can create a serialized content out of it, like dumb mistakes, beginners traders do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So this is the format that we come up with. So this is one of the creative format that we executed for one of our client. And again, it's all about that repeatable structure that you have to follow, right? So up till now, you know that how creative formats work, what are creative formats, where to find creative format inspirations, how to create and own a new format. And the fifth step is going to be how to direct and record for maximum engagement. So avoid using jargons in the copy. This copywriting is really, really important, because let's say if you're talking about the typical base format, you don't need an actual intelligent copy for those kind of videos, because the format is everything on that part. But here, every pillar of your video, the storytelling, the copy, each are playing their role. So you have to execute your scripts accordingly. So for example, how to avoid using jargons in the copy, avoid packaging your topics in a super niched way. Let's say we have a client who is in credit repairing niche. We are not going to talk about credit repairing or credit bureau, right? These are jargons. Like these are the slangs which is only known to a niched audience. So we are going to, rather than talking about this, we are going to talk about funding. We are going to talk about money, right? The subordinate topics. It's all about the packaging. Camera angles and light pacing, obvious one. I don't think I have to explain this. Shoot one scene at the time. I think it's generic as well. You know that how you're going to basically execute. Understand the essence of the format while recording. Okay, so now this is something really important. Like for example, I've just dissected a format for you, which is object analogy. But if I have to talk about another format, which is 2 characters, 1 light bulb, right? And that format is this one. This one. Now, what I mean by the essence is that again, this is kind of a like a performance drivers, right? For example, let's say if you are creating this format, 2 characters, 1 light bulb. Let's say you have played a multiple characters, right? And you have created a multiple characters. You're acting as 3 characters. The one as a buyer, the one as there's a company owner from the Xbox, and the third one is the guy who is basically working in the company as well, but he's kind of a dumb, I guess. One of the essence is their dressings, right? Like, for example, if imagine this video in a way that these characters, right, they had similar outfits, right, similar backgrounds. The video wouldn't have that much impact that it has right now, right? So this is one of the essence that I'm talking about here. So make sure that you keep in mind the essence of these videos, the essence of the formats, so that you can execute it perfectly. Now, as for the copy and as for the creative direction, I can show you an example of how we basically write copy for our clients and what to keep in mind while executing these. Let me just show you a script. Okay, so this is one of the format that we have come up with for one of our client, whose name is Saf. He's an email marketer, and for that we got inspired from this format: boring product, excellent marketing. This guy has this format, and he execute his videos in these type of style. So what he does basically, he takes on boring products and then show their cleverly interesting marketing tactics, right? So be inspired from that part, and we, after dissecting his format, this is what we come up with: interesting products, boring emails, right? And this is the first one that we are going to basically talk about. So this is the whole script, right? And some of the creative directions have also been given. So this is a simple format. This is not something that you have to actually act, because again, every creator has their own style of creating content, right? For example, Saf wants to create content where he doesn't have to actually act. So this is what we come up with, right? So we have come up with some other formats as well, like different emails from the same brand. This is a format where this is the format that we got inspired from a creator, where he is showing 2 videos and explaining one has performed really well and one has fallen flat, right? So we took that inspiration and created something of our own, like different emails from the same brand, Nike edition. And in this video, what we are basically doing is we are showing 2 emails from the same brand, Nike, but one has gained more sales and other one, like, it fall flat, right? So now it has also been properly dissected before putting in this calendar, and let's see how it goes, right? So this is our procedure of I'd say writing a script. Make sure that it doesn't have any kind of jargons, it doesn't have any kind of I'd say generic copies, and also make sure to use but and therefore more often rather than using and then, because it's one of the psychological trick of copywriting. Like, if you're writing a short form script and your content is like based on and it's like something you're stacking information on top of each other, right? If as a viewer I am going through one of your videos and you're just talking facts and facts and facts and facts and facts, so it's something that, like, I'm not going to, like, there's no chain, there's no storytelling, right? There's no reasoning behind your ands. So buts and therefores, these are the whole chain words that you have to use in order to streamline your copy. So make sure that the copy that you are writing is following the essence of the format that you are being inspired from. For example, if you are inspired from object analogy, it has a different style of a copy. If you're inspired from 2 characters, 3 characters, 1 light bulb, it has a different style. If you're inspired from street interviews, right? So it has a different copywriting style. So just make sure that you understand the essence. That's and the sixth step in Creative Commons, again the same real estate. You have to check the interface. It must not engage with your likes, comments, or captions. So this is a whole course, and I hope it is helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you can leave under this video, and I'll make sure that I'll address those. Thank you so much.